We'd like to thank I Want a Dog, the application that helps you to easily find the perfect dog for you. It is really an amazing service. It enables you, you can get in almost anything, Liz, on an app these days. Is there anything you can't get on an app?
I mean, the fact that you can now get dogs on demand. I really don't know what else is left, Christian.
Probably the last thing you're going to be able to get on an app because you can get everything else. But just how it works, you can download the app. You can find dogs both in your area that are up for sale. You can scroll through, find the dog for you. You can negotiate a price with the owner, and you can buy it. And the great thing about the app is if you don't end up liking the dog for whatever reason, you can put it back on the app. And it's basically a market for dogs.
But it's okay. Because the main mission of this company is every dog has a home. And it doesn't matter if that home is permanent. It's just every dog has a home.
Yeah, some people have criticized this business because they say, oh, isn't it cruel to just trade them around back and forth like baseball cards?
They're fine with it, though, as long as they have a home.
They have a home. They have people that love them. It's like they're on a permanent, they're going to boarding school or something, and they're meeting the new...
Yeah, it's totally
the
normal.
new schoolmasters, and the dogs are happy. And I really just want to say that the people who have a problem with this, I don't think you're seeing the bigger picture. You don't know what it's like to be a dog. You haven't seen what the dogs in this service are like. They're very happy. And I really think it's just the easiest way to get a dog. How else do you get a dog? You just get on the internet? Wouldn't it be better to find
We should get a dog for lizandchristian.com.
The thing is I can get a dog tonight. That's how easy it is.
Great service.
Great service.
It's a division of Bezos' new company.
Yeah.
And
Bezos had a dog when he was young, and the dog, I think, passed away, had a stroke. And Bezos tried to resurrect it. So he's always had a penchant for investing in sort of dog tech.
it was only going to be so long until there was finally an Amazon for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So if you go to the I Want a Dog, if you download the I Want a Dog application, you can get that in iOS at the Google Store. If you enter the promo code WOOF, you can get a dog free tonight. All it requires is
your first dog free, though.
First dog free.
You have to return it within 5 days.
You have to pay tax on the dog, too. But you can get a dog tonight for no money down.
And if you have Prime, it'll come within an hour. Thanks, iwantadog.com.
Thank you so much.
Brought to you by Amazon.
Liz and Christian! Liz and Christian! Liz and Christian! Liz and Christian!
We are here with Peter Malfoy. Peter Malfoy.
Hello, it's good to be here.
Good to be here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
the
Thank you for
podcast.
having me.
Now tell me if I get any of this incorrect.
I will.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, sure you will.
Immediately.
Yeah. So you're from South Gloucestershire.
Jesus Christ.
So what is that?
That sounds awful in your mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you like to take another
you're
whack?
from some part of England. Okay. You're from
Right.
some part of
Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
Okay. Oh, that's all you had to say, and I would
All
have
right.
learned it like
Hashtag.
that.
Well, next
Okay.
time maybe do your research.
Well, it's hard to look up phonetics of things.
I'm sure it's
I could
very
read.
hard for you, Christian.
Yeah, I don't read that pidgin language that they have in Merriam-Webster that tells you how to pronounce something. I don't know how to do it.
Maybe just do research on your interview guest before they show up. Learn how to pronounce where they're from.
Well,
You dense mudblood.
This
did
guy.
you just call us a mudblood?
I did, but you have to understand, in Gloucestershire, unlike in the world of Harry Potter, it doesn't have the same meaning.
Well, look, I'm sure there are lots of parts of America that, have slightly different cultural meanings and attitudes and other things. But if you didn't know that, I wouldn't be a total jerk about it, So what I'm suggesting is you let me get through this biography of you real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to other things.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. He's from
Do
England.
what you must.
Okay, all right.
Do it.
Here we go. Let's see if I can get through this. Peter Malfoy is from South Gloucestershire. Okay.
Close enough.
You were a classmate of J.K. Rowling when you were in, sounds like elementary, middle school, high school, maybe. I don't know
Correct.
exactly when
No,
it ends.
it was through all of them.
Yep. So you are, as legend has it, and is popularized by this series of memes from earlier this year. From earlier like a decade ago. You're the inspiration for the character Draco Malfoy.
That's right.
Probably based on fact, if I'm just going to say, because your last name is Malfoy. You went to school with J.K. Rowling.
It seems an obvious connection.
Yeah, it seems like a connection, obviously.
Yes.
And the fact is that the Harry Potter fans, when they stumbled upon this, that you were the actual person responsible for this character, that they reacted to you pretty violently after some disappointing, plot lines in the 5th and 6th book. I hope I don't ruin anything for anyone, but this
I'd say the statute of limitations on that is passed.
Yeah, statute of limitations. It's canon. It's over. You missed your chance. This character, Dumbledore, gets killed. All right? Dumbledore is pretty universally beloved. Draco Malfoy had something.
He's a great... Can I just say, I love the character of Dumbledore. I do. I would never... In real life, if Dumbledore was that to me, if I were in that book and I met him, I would say he is a fantastic man and no one should ever contribute to his death.
Does everyone out there hear that?
Official for the record. If I could just get that out, I really appreciate you just letting me put that on the record.
Liz and I are both happy to provide that platform for you.
We have that stage.
I feel like things have turned around. A little bit ago, we were at each other's throats, but we're united by this.
I'm sorry.
I don't think he did it. I just met the guy, but I'm here to say I don't think he did it.
So anyways, let me just finish this real quick, just so everybody's on the same page. You have been basically put through all this torment. It's kind of been like a weird fatwa on your head from Harry Potter fans, okay, who hate you
we call
because
it a
they say not only is his last name Malfoy, he is obviously the person, the J.K. Rowling met, who inspired this evil character. So you're a lot like this person. That's what the rumor goes.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
yes.
and that justifies these terrible things. You've had your house burned down twice. Okay, you've had all sorts of just random hijinks pulled on you, like bananas in the exhaust pipes and the car stalls, and you're just like, okay, really? That's what we're doing here?
That was my literal thought.
Yeah, and so you've had this kind of string of incidents. You actually filed a lawsuit against J.K. Rowling for a libel case, basically saying you drew a parallel between this character Malfoy and myself. You made this inevitable. She won that case. She issued a statement claiming there's no basis for the claim that Peter Malfoy had anything to do or was any way a real-life inspiration for the character Draco Malfoy. You have a book out there. Again, I have only read certain sections. I think, Liz, you're in the same boat.
You haven't read the whole book?
Yeah, I usually read the first part and then the last part, and then I just kind of put the middle together. But
you can deduce a lot about the innards of a book from the first page and the last page.
Yeah, or just that flap in the front.
Also, the press around a book. They do a good job kind of summarizing what's in a book. But we get the gist, which is that you've had this shit happen to you, and you have this book, I Am Not Draco, the Peter Malfoy story. And it's interesting. Do you think that J.K. Rowling actually based the Draco Malfoy character on you?
No. I know she did. I know for a fact because there are many events in my history of my relationship with Joanne that made it into the book series. So I write all about them in my book. I describe them in great detail, and I explain how and the parallels between it and the events and the things that this character Draco Malfoy does in the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
For example, when I called you a mudblood earlier, that is an old Gloucestershire slur name, basically. It is a derogatory word, but it doesn't mean what it means in the Harry Potter universe. But if you go up to someone in Gloucestershire and you say to them, "Oh, you dirty mudblood," they'll turn around and they'll sock you in the face.
What's it mean? I mean, what's it even mean? I mean, obviously it doesn't mean you're not a wizard. Right. What does it actually mean in Gloucestershire? Isn't that a sauce? Like, what is this?
You're thinking of Worcester.
Worcester. Okay.
Right. Yes. No, we get that a lot from Americans. So anyway, to the point, if you are a mudblood in Gloucestershire, it means that you have fallen at the Mud Festival. There is a Mud Festival held every year at Gloucestershire, and there are sports and competitions, and one of them is staying afloat a rickety log suspended over a giant pond of mud.
A mud bog.
A mud bog, if
I've
you
seen
will.
it. It's been on
right.
ESPN.
Absolutely. And sometimes if you fall into the mud bog, you can get what's called bogwarts. It's a serious thing that you get from falling in...
Wait, are you serious?
I am.
You can get something called bogwarts. And that was the...
You're making the connection already, aren't you?
Hogwarts?
And you know what? pigs would bathe in that mud. So if you think about it, you have this thing that you've grown up knowing at Gloucestershire called bogwarts, and there are pigs in the mud. It's not a far of a jump. Frankly, she's a little lazy.
Oh
I
my
could have come
God.
up with something better myself, I think. So anyway, to the point, a mudblood is somebody who has lost every competition at the Mud Festival. So Joanne would always call me a mudblood. But then one year she finally lost, and I call her a mudblood. One time I call her a mudblood, and look what it's become. You know, I call her a dirty mudblood, and granted, there was a fair amount of tongue-in-cheek behind that. It wasn't as hate-filled as Draco spouts it in the books and in the TV, in the movies, you know. So I call her it one time, and suddenly she takes it, and look what she turns it into. How rude! How positively ghastly of her.
Yeah, and she didn't give you any advance warning. Liz,
No,
you read,
she didn't.
You read
I
these
didn't
books.
speak to her after high school. We went to separate unis.
So you guys didn't even have that much
No,
of a
but
relationship. She
I'll
just
tell you
sort of
this.
took this detail and ran with it and said,
I'll tell you,
like,
the last time she ever spoke to me was at our high school graduation.
what was she
Well,
like in high school? Was she cool?
Honestly,
Was she, like, fun? Was
she was very quiet, but she was quiet in that way that where she would sit in the corner with a journal, and you would see her, you would just catch her looking at you,
Yeah.
and you could tell that she was thinking judgmental. She was very judgy. She was very
Maybe she's a wizard. We're all just a figment of her imagination.
ha ha.
Can
It's
we
very
take a
funny.
moment for
What?
a moment's sake, to just acknowledge that, regardless if she was careless with biographical details of your life, which later
She made
implicated
my
you.
life a
Yeah.
living hell.
She made your life a
Yes.
living hell. But beside that, you have to acknowledge that those books, they were very good. And even if she, very quite frankly, rudely snatched some biographical details from you, like she incorporated them well into a general structure of a story, and it sucks for you, but like the rest of the world had a pretty good experience having that sort of romp ride through adventurous fiction
Yeah.
that she wrote. I mean,
But
I was-
at the expense of this
okay.
man.
Everybody has to draw from their own experience, right?
mean-
like what I'm saying is in the grand picture of things, all the joy that was created by the Harry Potter novels, does that do anything to kind of counteract maybe the misery that you've experienced? And is the world a better place just with things having gone as it has than if Harry Potter never existed at all?
Well, I don't think so, but I bet that Larry would think, absolutely, yes, of course. I'm talking, of course, about Larry Potter, another one of our fellow classmates who has absolutely done nothing but benefit from this whole thing, unrightfully so. Larry Potter.
Are you serious?
Did
She
we
has used.
know about Larry?
Oh, my God.
Joanne has no imagination. Every single one of those students is just
Does he have a lightning rod on his face?
No, it's not a lightning, but you know what it is?
Thunder?
It's a scar.
It is a scar.
Yeah.
It's not lightning shaped.
Well,
But-
it's shaped however the random scar is shaped. It's just probably just a little flurry of imagination on her part. She said, "Make
Yeah,
it look like
she
a lightning."
probably-
Right,
like,
exactly.
was on
It's
acid.
it's just honestly, it's just a kind of squiggly line
Yeah,
that she just took and
she
Ran with-
added some poetry to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
as she is wont to do, but however uncreatively, honestly, so much she borrowed from our schools growing up together.
well, they say creating is borrowing. And so I don't know if we're giving her enough credit. It's like, on the one hand, she did take a lot of these biographical details, but on the other hand, you had access to all these biographical details too. And I think that if you had a shred of the talent that J.K. Rowling had, that you would
All
have
right.
strung them together and made millions off your own story. Let's be frank
She
here.
did figure it out.
She figured it out, and yeah, like maybe she could give you a settlement. Maybe you should have won that settlement. Okay, I'll even concede that.
I do believe I'm
Maybe
due
you
at
should have
least
won.
that
Well,
much.
you should
Maybe it
get
would- yeah.
royalties.
Maybe you should get
At
a
least
fraction.
something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. At least a little cut of the fat ham that she's
Yeah.
created.
How much money has she made?
Oh my God! It's in it. You know she has more money than the royal family.
No.
Did you know that? No, honestly, I read that in an article the other day. I read J.K. Rowling actually has more money than the royal crown.
Are they rich? I guess the royal crown's got to be rich.
They have a royal vault. Yes.
What would happen if the royal family just lost all its money? What would happen?
How do you feel knowing a family doesn't pay taxes, lives off your taxes,
I mean,
and just
God save the
lives
Queen.
and does
but
nothing.
Yeah. How does that
That's-
feel?
She should. I mean, she contributes in her own way. I don't want you to be speaking ill about my Queen.
How would you feel if all of a sudden
not why I came
some
here.
recording came out, right?
Mhm.
Some recording came out of the Queen, and heaven knows how they got it, but it's recent. And she's like, "Oh, the Irish, fuck the Irish. They're animals, distinct and inferior to English blood for genetic reasons." And that was it. And that was the quote. Would you be like, you know what? We don't need a monarchy anymore. You know, fuck
Yeah.
these people. You know?
To answer your question,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Is that not true? Are the Irish not the most filthy of the races that we have here on this planet?
I'm Irish, okay?
I'm sorry. I do believe.
you know, we're living. Yeah, I mean, you did the.
Are you Irish? You hide it quite well. Are you drunk right now, or have you? I don't see any potatoes lying around. You know, mudblood does have one more meaning in Gloucestershire, but I believe it's a word that your people are very familiar with.
What is that?
If you're a mudblood, you're also a dirty Mick. So that's the alternate definition. And maybe, you know what? Maybe Joanne did borrow that as well. Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Again, she did it and she won.
I'm gonna read you some Seamus Haney later. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm not going to be listening to that drivel. Thanks for the offer. You can.
Well, you know
can
what?
keep
You know
your-
what? When you have the courage, you pick up Seamus Haney's Death of a Naturalist. You read it.
I doubt there's
You
any
tell me if
courage
the Irish
in the work
are,
of a drunk.
Yeah.
Of
Not
a
the
drunk
most
leprechaun.
brilliant
I
species
don't
on
believe
Earth.
there's any
Yes, thank
wisdom
you.
to be found there.
What I
Yes.
was astonished by is that, you know, a lot of Harry Potter fans like to consider themselves sort of like on the side of good.
Like Gryffindor good.
Gryffindor,
Right.
but everybody thinks they're a Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Right.
Right? Or
Right.
maybe some people.
I'm a Gryffindor.
Of course you are.
I've taken the test just because I wanted to prove the haters.
Mm-hmm.
But I
I
thought
wanted
you
to prove to
weren't
them
a
that
wizard.
I am not this Draco Malfoy.
Yes.
So I took the Pottermore test.
Did you read the books?
I absolutely read the books. I was
so
a huge fan.
You knew in advance what the qualities of a Gryffindor were, and so
Right.
you favored those qualities in those multiple choice questions, and so you very, you know,
I did not fake
unnaturally
anything.
became
Why-
put into the Gryffindor camp. I think that if you had never read the books, you take this test without knowing what it's about, you would have been a Slytherin. And I think you know that's
And
true.
are you saying that because you're a dirty Irishman? I'm just assuming there's still some leftover drunk bitterness from that. You're just assuming out of nowhere that I would be a Slytherin for no reason, other than that my last name is Malfoy. Is that why you think I would be a Slytherin?
No, I think it more has to do with your general demeanor. You're very slippery.
I'm slippery. Is that just because I've been wiggling in my seat like I have?
You wiggle. You're well oiled.
That's my
Your
osteoporosis,
hands
and
are- your hands-
I thank you for announcing it to
I
everybody.
can see the white hair
Yeah.
coming through.
You
I
have
know
white
you
hair.
dye it. We
You have
know
white
you
hair.
dye it.
Right. Okay.
Is
well,
that actual white hair? Or is that
my natural hair is a platinum blonde, which she, of course, borrowed for her character, Draco Malfoy.
Yes.
So I do dye my hair, yes, because people will see it, and they will see the general angry shape of my face, and they will make the connection, and they will, even if they don't know my name, will walk up to me and say, "You must be a Malfoy." And that does not lend
that
to
happened
my
probably
case.
more often back when the books were coming out.
Right,
It's
when
died
they were
down
coming
since
out.
then.
Well, when the
probably.
movies came out, there was a resurgence of it
Yeah.
because,
People thought you were in costume all the time.
right.
Honestly, you're a good-looking guy,
Thank you.
but you do sort of look like you're playing a character right now. You don't look casual, you know. Like,
I'm on my way to an important meeting after this. Some very important people.
that's
Right.
true. That's true.
Right.
Maybe some people comport themselves differently than
Yeah.
me and Liz.
So
Some people do. Most people, I would say.
what do you talk about in your book? Like,
Well-
is there more to the story that we don't even know about?
I mean, there was many things that... I mean, you say that Joanne is this great writer, and she goes on and on to explain the differences... to put these details in this world of this magic world of Harry Potter, and honestly, she's just stolen so much of it from her everyday life, and then changed it a little bit so that it doesn't, it's so that it suits her needs, and then she calls it a fantasy young adult novel, and it becomes the biggest book series to come along in quite some time. And I just think that if you know the facts behind what really happened with this Larry and he was quite a big deal in our school, so she boy, did she have a thing for him. There was a rumor going around school that she'd been fingered in her senior year by Larry Potter, and I swear to God, I heard from Neville, who, and now you'll probably, okay, I should just explain.
No. I read the chapter. Doug highlighted that chapter. He said, read the Neville chapter.
Right.
It's like, you don't understand
Neville told
Peter
me
unless you understand Neville.
that
I read that
Larry
chapter.
Definitely got at least to third base with Joanne, so you know she was S in that D for quite some time,
Wow.
and you know that when things ended between her and Larry,
Yeah.
she was obsessed.
Look, I know.
So
I
She
read.
was
I
obsessed. No, honestly,
look.
listen to
I
me.
read that. Look, I read the chapter, and I thought to
Did you?
myself, "Yeah, I did
Oh, you
read
did
the
your
chapter.
research. That's
I did
good.
the chapter, and then what I thought was, it's like, look, J.K. is Joanne is young. Okay, she gets
Right.
sort of interested in this guy. They break up. It doesn't go well. She was briefly obsessed with him, but like, look, we've all
briefly.
been obsessed with people at different
Briefly.
points. People make a little mistakes. That's part of growing up. The
Would you
point
just-
is
is
that
15 years brief?
look, I think the takeaway should be is that she used all these biographical details to make a really, really sick fantasy book. You can't say that Gloucestershire, or however the hell it's pronounced, is like the world of Harry Potter. She had to have made some big jumps to get it there. And you said yourself, it's a great book
Hogwarts.
series.
It is. I know. Honestly, I love it. But I feel like I love it because of the nostalgia. It brings me back to Gloucestershire. And
Yeah.
even when I read the books and I think of Draco, I can't help but see myself reflected back at me. And it made me a better person by reading it. And I know I was maybe a little like that as a child. And Joanne saw that. And she put it in her books, and it made me think long and hard
Wow.
about the way that I had been acting, and I changed. I changed. I really did. I saw the error of my ways, and I realized that I want to be like Harry. I want to be like Harry, and I'm not Draco. I'm
No.
not
No.
Draco Malfoy. I'm not.
Thank you.
That's your book.
I'm a Gryffindor.
Yeah, you're a Gryffindor. Okay.
I'm a Gryffindor.
Wow.
That's the first line of his book.
That's the title of the book. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I guess it kind
Can
of
I show you a tattoo I have?
Yes,
it's not
I've
anywhere.
never wanted to see the answer to that more than,
hold
and
on.
I can almost guess what it is. Can I guess what it is?
I would rather you did. Yes.
Okay, what I'm guessing is because you clearly like Harry.
He's
All right,
my
you said you
favorite.
wanted to be Harry.
He's
What
kind
I
of
think it is Harry riding a broom, going after a whatever it's called, the snitch.
The golden snitch.
You go golden snitch. It's him extending for it, and I think it's on your right buttock.
It's actually on my left buttock.
Because that's
You were so close. You
Wow,
were very close.
Christian.
But
Yeah.
what I have
Sure,
is.
you didn't meet before this show.
All right, I feel like
no,
he
no,
might
no,
have
no.
done his
I'm kidding.
research. at
Everybody,
least-
as everybody knows, it's in the book. Everybody
It
knows.
is in
Like
the last
Doug
chapter,
was like,
which I
don't
read the last
skip
chapter.
the middle of chapter 11. The whole page was highlighted.
It was.
Was
And
it
there's
on the
an
right? Because I
illustration.
actually read that it was on the left.
You read that it was on the left?
I thought I remembered it because I read that chapter.
he almost got it.
It's all right. It was one small detail. You said right buttock, left buttock. That's the smallest mistake you've made today.
Well,
It's been lovely having
yeah,
you on
it's
the
been
show.
lovely having you
Thank
on. And honestly, I
Thank you.
think,
It's been a good
It's-
turnaround. I mean, I think we've
yeah,
really
I feel a
gone
lot
through
more
a
on your
lot.
camp now.
We've gone through
Can
a
I just
lot
say,
in this,
I really
in
like
this
you two.
cast.
You've kind of made me see that not all dirty mix, filthy mudbloods are bad.
Thank you.
And
I mean-
and I'm realizing that now. And I see that they
I
can
never
contribute.
even knew I was one, which is another thing I learned today.
I think what Liz and I have realized, and we've been texting back and forth between ourselves, our thoughts.
This whole show.
Yeah,
This entire interview.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so that's what you're doing. Yeah, no, I
yeah.
saw
That's
you.
what we were. It
It was very obvious.
Yeah. Well, you
Oh.
couldn't tell that we were texting
Well,
with each
next
other. You
time
probably-
Right. No,
Next
but
time
I
we'll
would
do
actually.
it on our Apple Watches.
Right. I
But-
saw you touching your watch quite a bit.
The material part is, I think what we were both saying is, man, this guy, being a Slytherin, is remarkably friendly and
Yeah.
I'd say amiable, and I'd say that we didn't know that
but I'm not a
Slytherins
Slytherin.
could be like this.
No. But I'm not a Slytherin exactly.
And yeah, that's all we have today.
All right, no.
Wait,
because
I have to
I'm
give a
not-
quick message to the sponsor.
Like I
We'd
just
like
said, I was a Gryffindor.
Okay.
you took a test and you got a
Yeah.
Gryffindor. But with that, we will take it to the sponsor. This week's sponsor is thegap.com. Thegap.com makes a lot of good clothing for men and women. It's
With
kind
holes
of like,
in it.
Yeah, it's kind of like nondescript clothing
With holes.
with holes. Like it's sort of
Like pockets.
yeah, it's kind of
Like the
it's
Gap,
kind of
you
vaguely
know?
embracing some fashion trends, but I guess it's kind of like got its heart set in
From
kind of
what
like a Sperry like world. You know, it's kind of like wanting to be kind of light and airy and sort of a little bit preppy.
From what I understand, it's a tiny bit preppy, but it's mostly pretty bland.
Yeah, it's kind of
No,
bland.
no,
That's the thing. Is the
great.
Gap
I'm
is
wearing
I
bland.
would say
it now.
the Gap is pretty bland. We
Yeah.
have that in England.
I love
Gloucestershire.
having holes in all my clothes. So.
Yeah.
Do you mean like distressed, like the ones that look kind of like, oh, I've been used a little bit?
I don't know if
those
they make
kind of
distressed
jeans?
clothing. I think they
Gap
probably
in your
do.
Shirt, you know?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Huge
I think they would do anything to make a buck. That's what I think.
Do they put holes in the men's
But
clothing
we
as well? at
really
Gap?
appreciate their sponsorship.
We appreciate their sponsorship. They're
And
about
Oh, you're trying to
exploring new
promote them
ideas.
right now?
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be jumping into this.
Oh no,
everyone.
no. I don't wear the Gap clothing. I think that other people listening to this program should buy Gap clothing, but I personally don't wear Gap clothing.
You don't support it personally?
I
then?
do,
Nothing to
and
do with
I'm
anything.
so
Yeah.
appreciative of our sponsors.
So appreciative of Gap, though.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malfoy.
Oh, thank
I
you
think
for
you're a
having
really
me.
remarkably well-balanced person,
Thank you.
given
Honestly.
all these other details.
And thank you to our listeners all
Thank you,
around the
listeners.
world.
Especially those
Global.
in Hyderabad. We love you.
Oh no, they're
We
filthy
love you.
mudbloods.